Hi guys, welcome to this week's show. This week I was going to answer some questions on meridian lines, but I think I'm going to wait and do that in its own video, maybe early next week. On this show, I'm going to answer a question I got this morning, and it was about ghost hunters and what are they, what do they do you think they're legit, all of that. And what, quote, ghost hunters do is they use technical means to, what's the word I'm looking for? To make valid that something beyond us exists. And yes, I think they're very good. I think they're only as good as their technique. I think they're only as good as how good their technical abilities are. Years ago you wouldn't have heard of hearing a voice on a tape recorder. You wouldn't have seen a picture of something in front of someone's face in a photograph or behind, or a little orb. You wouldn't have seen that before. And the reason for that is how much better technology has gotten. Not that suddenly ghosts are appearing. I love that part. It's like, why are they suddenly appearing? They're not suddenly appearing. We're getting more technically advanced so that we can capture this. I took pictures 2 years ago at Christmas time, and there was a huge orb over my brother's head. I'm sure it was my dad. And, they were all over. But that's how good the technology is in the camera I was using. It was a much better camera where, it wasn't my camera. My camera isn't that advanced. But I can still, take pictures of things and get that. Plus, going to digital quality, that makes it easier to capture, because you're capturing, when you would take a picture, let's go back like to the 60s, and they came out with the Polaroid, it would take a couple of seconds for the picture to take. By the time you hit the button, and you actually heard something going on in the computer, it is, and in the little camera, before it actually captured the picture. But today, with digital cameras, it's like snap, bam, you capture everything instantly, so you're able to capture more. And I like to watch, there's a couple of shows about ghost hunting. Paranormal Society, International Ghost Hunters. Some of the things they do, they go to places that are famously haunted, and they confirm, yeah, they're famously haunted. To me, I like the stuff that's, the woman who calls up and says something's haunting, my place, can you come figure it out? I like those kind, because they're actually like really helping people. When you're just confirming that, the plantation, in Louisiana is officially haunted. The Myrtle plantation is officially haunted. Well, we knew that a long time ago. I knew that the first time I ever went there. And I didn't necessarily see what everyone else was saying they saw. I was actually seeing the man who owned the place, not the black slave that, everybody says they keep seeing. So, yeah, I love it. And one of the question this morning was, is it a viable career? I think anything's a viable career depending on what it is you want to do with it. If you want to learn about, voice phenomenon, if you want to learn about cameras taking, better picture, capturing that in film or on a photo, or it's all about the bigger picture. Like, why are you doing it in the first place? Not just that it's fascinating, but why is it fascinating? Why is that fascinating to you? What can you do with that? I have met people here in the state of Florida who have their own business society that goes and, helps people. That's their goal. Their intrigue is with the technology. Their heart is with helping people find some peace. Yes, is this house haunted? Yes, do we know somebody who can come in and help you? Or is it like, should you just run for the hills? Why do you want to do it? So, and with anything you do, you should always be looking at the why. You should always be seeing the bigger picture. But I think it's very fascinating. When and if I ever watch some of the shows, it's like, these are my two responses. Either I happen to watch something that they're reconfirming that something's actually haunted, which to me just doesn't mean much. To me, not necessarily general public. They're trying to reach the general public. But what I find most fascinating is there is a show on A&E called, and I'm not going to remember the name of it, something Paranormal Society. It's a bunch of college kids that got together and, are trying to help people. That's what they're trying to do. Paranormal State, that's what it's called. And I like what they do. I like that they, from an early age, knew something was going on and wanted to take it one step further. Met like-minded people and took it one step further. But instead of going to become mediums or going to become psychics, what they did was they went down the technology road. And they went, okay, how can I prove this? I got to have something to show somebody to help them deal with it, move on from it, release whatever is holding it there, because that's what happens a lot with when you have, quote, entities hanging around your home. You're keeping them there, especially if they're either from the property or from you and your family. And we don't realize we're doing that. That's why I think it's so fabulous that you can actually look at something and go, look, do you see where it is? Do you see where it hangs out? Do you see why it likes to be there? Who is it hanging with? So, yeah, look into it. I mean, if that's fascinating to you, go for it, because and honestly, I wish more people would be interested in that avenue because of the technology. Because the more technology we can have, the greater our ability to kind of bridge that gap, to say, look, there is something between here and there. Maybe I'm not reaching God on the other side, but maybe I'm reaching something in between. And that's pretty fascinating in itself. So good luck, and keep in touch and let me know. And anybody else who, if you work in that field or, have had experiences in that field, I would love to hear from you. So have a fabulous weekend, and ciao.